Alexa, play Mastermind by Taylor Swift.
Mastermind by Taylor Swift on Amazon Music. Good
I don't even
news.
have my
You
microphone
can try
plugged
Alexa
in.
Plus free during early access. No credit card needed. Let me show you how I can have more natural conversations and be more helpful. You can switch back if you prefer. Ready to give it a try?
No. For those tuning in, I am a Swiftie. And this is how I'm going to get myself pumped for this live stream tonight. I'm just getting some nutrition in. This is a Nature Valley almond bar that was on sale at the local CVS. They actually have some really good sales on cereal and like granola bars and stuff like that. The whole package was $2. Like, where are you gonna get a better deal than that? I'll be like, I gotta spread the word on the internet. $2. Some of the shit. Another deal I thought was like, okay, um, was at Dollar Tree, and Dollar Tree has a lot of like good deals, but some are actually not deals at all. I have found candy for sale at Dollar Tree that's actually less expensive at the grocery store, so it could go either way. But what did I see? Like a comparable package of pork rinds, because I'm a big pork rind fan as a snack. I saw it for sale at like the gas station for $4, and then obviously at Dollar Tree for $1.25. And I was like, I'm getting all my um pork rinds from the Dollar Tree from now on. By the way, sometimes I like to call out my hair or my makeup if I'm just feeling myself. And today I'm really feeling my hair. I have to say, the crimping I did a good job on, although I do need a haircut. For any girls that are on here, it is expensive for a female haircut, and now it's just as expensive for a male haircut. But a lot of males that I've known throughout the years go to a barber shop, or even like my mom's boyfriend goes to Great Clips, like $20, plus a few bucks tip. Whereas like females, like the cheapest fucking decent haircut we can get is it is so hard not to sing along with Taylor Swift. Anytime I put her on, I'm like fighting it the whole time I'm speaking. I basically know 95% dental, and the first night that you saw me was gonna stop me. I laid the groundwork and then okay, I got it out of my system. What if I told you I'm a mastermind? This is a great song, by the way. It's called Mastermind by the great Taylor Swift. Okay, what was I even saying? I get off track anytime Taylor is on. I'm gonna have to put her off. Okay, Alexa off. I don't know if anyone else is like this, but if you're really devoted to an artist or something and have committed the time, spent, you know, you drive to them, you're listening to them in your car, in the shower, everywhere, like Swifties do, like myself. It's like so fucking ingrained in your system that anytime it comes on, you just feel like that. I gotta sing this. I gotta dance. I gotta sing and dance. So I feel like anytime I hear her, no matter where I'm at, I feel like I have to just break out into, performance or something. And so that's why it's really cool. It was a really cool opportunity. Obviously the concert was hella expensive, but I did go to Eras. I needed to go. It was something that just needed to happen. But the little Taylor Swift dance parties that I would go to, um, when I was living in DC, they were only like $15-$20 a night of pure wholesome joy. And it's like, you think about what you spend 15 or $20 on, and when you're surrounded by the people who share the same enthusiasm as you, and Swifties are all, I don't want to say we're all the same. I mean, for pie recipes. Mm, you know what? A lot of mine just I just do what other people do, go to best blueberry pie and just see what kind of pops up or resonates. But I do have an actual book I've been working from called The Pie Academy. It was like $10 on sale. And so that's the primary book I've been working from. Also, Food Network recipes tend to be good. Uh, Certainly anything from Paula Deen, because I know that she's going to load it up with the fat and, have no regard for sugar or calories. And I feel like a pie should have no regard for sugar or calories whatsoever. um, what was I saying about Swifties? Oh yeah. Um, we are people who love to express joy. We might have been picked on. We might have been the underdogs. We might have been called we're too much, we're too emotional, or we're too nice. So you feel like you're just in a safe environment. You're surrounded by your kinfolk. And that's what the Swift dance parties meant to me. And you can count on a good time and singing in unison with other people and who share the same joy, and they're like, clutching their heart, or whatever, because we feel whatever, the songs that she feels, we feel. And it's just a cathartic thing. And even if you're not a Swiftie, because I've had some straight male dudes that were clearly not Swifties and they were just going with friends from work or their girlfriends, whatever. Um, they had a good time, and I know that they had a good time. And everyone knows "Shake It Off" or "Blank Space," so they were trying to sing the words that they could, but I was like, okay, I hope that those dudes go back to wherever they're from and kind of like advertise this to the straight male community that, hey, this is probably a good spot to pick up a wholesome, joyful, woman. I feel like if you're trying to infiltrate to get one of those types, if you want a nice girl who's, you know, bubbly and just good, I feel like, go to a Taylor Swift dance party. And one of the times I brought, saying age, age doesn't matter there. The guy I was seeing at the time was significant, not too significantly older than me. He was 47, and I brought his ass to a Taylor Swift dance party. And you know what? The Swifties, took him in as one of their own, and he was a really good sport about it. And I feel like as long as you can be a dude, that's, you can have a good sport about it. He took my pictures. Um, he dressed the part. I told him what to wear. He, wanted to know what to wear. And I was like, honestly, you could just go in something black for Reputation era, because at these parties you have to dress like one of her eras. Like there's certain, I don't want to say rules around it. Like there's no rules, but there's, I have, just given him pointers. And he, he was a good sport. He took a couple of vids of me and made friends with a couple of the other Swifties. Um, and it was a really good time. And he said that he was a Swiftie himself. Although looking back, I'm really just not sure, because I feel like a few of the guys, they know that I'm a Swiftie and they have used it against me when they're trying to get in my pants. So I went out with this one dude, and I didn't even know that this was happening. So one of my friends from Charlottesville offered, because he saw on my Instagram that I had gotten this kitchen table set, but it needed to be put together. And he offered to put it together because he was going to DC back and forth for his job, whatever. And I was like, oh my God, that would be amazing because, as handy and crafty as I am, I was like, I don't know if I can put together this table. Now since I've gone through my hiking trip, I'd like to believe that I could put together that table. Like you can, I feel like I can do anything I put my mind to, but the offer was out there, so I took it. And he came over and put together the table, and we went out to the restaurant across from where I lived for, and I'm very, I don't want to say picky, but I don't really allow dudes to take me out to food unless I know it's, they're not trying to. I didn't know what was going on, but I feel like if somebody pays for me to do something, like I owe them. And he had already put together my table, so I was just feeling a little awkward about it, and I wasn't like interested in him like that anyway. So I think I ended up forcing the issue, and I ended up paying for half the wings and stuff, and it was money that I didn't want to spend. And needless to say, I think he was quizzing me on Taylor Swift. And I was like, what is going on here? I was like, first of all, I'm the resident expert on Taylor Swift. But he was like, what's her middle name? As if he had looked at her Wikipedia page. You'll do it with the NFL too. Yes. And I was telling Bob that too. I was like, I want to go to a game and just be balls out for the Bills. Um, Hopefully it's on the horizon next year, but I think I saw that they had announced that the Jaguars might be playing in Orlando, and I'll be staying with my friend in Orlando. So I was like, oh, that might be a great opportunity for us to go to a game so I don't have to go by myself. Um, so we'll see about next year, but I'm going to get next season. I'm getting my ass to an NFL game. I'm going to paint my face. I'm gonna paint my face, I'm gonna wear the jersey, and I'm just gonna like scream and like act a fool and, show my support. You're just talking about it now. I'm like, I can't wait. Um, let's see. How did you get your hair to flow like an Alaskan river thawed out by spring? Oh, I know, that's what I'm going for. You know what? My hair is kind of naturally wavy. So I feel like one of my friends, we always used to call it like river hair. Um, because she wouldn't brush her hair after we would go tubing in the river, but her hair would be so beautiful after going tubing, and we would call it river hair. And one night we all went out clubbing and stuff. She hadn't like brushed her hair or anything. She just had quote unquote river hair. She looked beautiful. And I was like, damn, sometimes the less effort things, are the most aesthetic. It's just funny to think about. Let's see. Hello, Steverino. All right, so what was I saying? Oh, yeah, about the Taylor Swift dance parties. Yeah, I would highly, highly suggest it. Men of any age, women of any age, go to one of those things. It will fill your cup for at least the entire week, I promise. And if it doesn't, you can call me out on it. But I promise you it will. And you be prepared to come with some bracelets to trade with the other Swifties and wear some glitter for fuck's sake. Put on some glitter, have a good old time. So the topic that I really had for tonight was I what's the dumb question? It's got to be fast. I can't. Don't drop mic. Oop. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do drop it. I kind of like it though. It makes me feel diva, superstar, um, you know, goddess energy. And I feel like I need some of that when I get on here because I feel like, that's kind of why I call it my stage, my story. Is because I need to feel a little bit of that like confidence boost. Like, getting on here. This is not something I think I have one friend that would probably do this, but this is an anomaly for somebody to even have the self-esteem or confidence to expose themselves to the internet like this. So anything I can do to get a little extra confidence boost before I put my face out to the world, I'll do. My friend, it's so heavy. People either love or they hate the mic, but like I said, it's a way of making me feel like a superstar. My friend uses that small mic too, and I don't have the nerve to ask him why. Um, Goddess energy. plus it was $13. So in the future, I do want to upgrade to a standing mic. I want to do a bunch of upgrades to this. Certainly I don't have the fucking following or anything to literally make money from this. So I'm just doing this as a hobby for right now. But should I become famous, I will definitely be upgrading the mic. I'll be upgrading pretty much, the lighting's okay. Um, I did get some Vine, light up Vine things from Temu yesterday, so I'm really excited about those because I think if nothing else, that is giving Forest Queen energy, and that was $7, and I had to spend like 20 extra dollars to get free shipping, so I got some beads so I can do my beading. No, it's like a look. Don't sell it short. You're doing good. Thank you. Yeah, like I said, people love it or they hate it, or they're just plain confused. They don't either love or they hate. One of my friends asked me, she's like, "Isn't there a way you can like it comes with this clip and let's see how comfortable I feel with it clipped on. I feel a little bit less like a superstar. Let's see how the actual audio comes off though. If I can make it work. How do you fucking I don't know if you're supposed to have it like this. See what y'all think about this, or if that looks tacky as fuck. Does it look? It kind of looks a little tacky. I don't know. What do you? Kendall says no. Okay, it does look a little. It looks tacky. I think we can all agree on that. All right, fail. So what I really wanted to talk about tonight was the movie that I watched yesterday, and it's one of the featured ones on Netflix, and it's got two young stars in it. I've never seen them before in my life, but it was a good movie. It's called The People We Meet on Vacation, and it just got me um, in the mood to see other rom-coms, and I feel like we haven't had really good quality rom-coms as of lately, and it was giving, and I've only watched this movie once, so I can't recite much of it at all. But when Harry met Sally, I know that it was one of my friends' like favorite movies of all time, and or like You've Got Mail, like the Meg Ryan stuff from her heyday, her prime. But I really want to watch When Harry Met Sally because it's kind of it's not a dissimilar tale where basically people are friends. Holding is look very cute. That's not no. Harry sadly is the only one. So basically, the both movies, are about the tale of two people that are friends for a really long time. They end up like falling in love, blah blah blah. And it always makes me wonder because that it shows up in movies a lot is, the friends first thing. And I get that. And I think that's kind of ideal if you can be friends with somebody first. But what do you guys think about the idea of being friends with somebody for years and then all of a sudden it turns romantic? Is that like a real thing? Does this actually happen in real life? Or are we just romanticizing it for these movies because we like the idea of marrying or being romantically involved with a best friend because that's how you want to feel with the person that you choose as your partner. But is stuff like that actually happening in real life? Oh yeah, anything Jennifer Aniston and Stiller are in, and I think they what's it, you just go with it or whatever. Like that's such a cute movie, and Jennifer Aniston can do no wrong, like as a person or an actor. I just feel like she is naturally very funny and she's pretty. Um, she's good. Jennifer Aniston is the entire package. You can quote half the movie. Oh, I need to watch it, even if I gotta pay the $2 on Amazon. I have to rewatch When Harry Met Sally. all I know, like the moment that's forever burned in my head is the moment that's shown all over the place where she's like, fake having an orgasm or something at the table, and it's making like what's his face? Not Stiller. Oh God, Billy. I forget his Billy Curly. Oh God, somebody call him out on here. Oh, Along Came Polly. That's a good one too. But yeah, and it was making him feel really uncomfortable at the table, and I just thought that that was, it's funny. It's really funny. And in this movie, yeah, they basically decide that they meet each other because they go to the same school and they're both traveling to an I forget what area they even go to, but they share a ride there. She's like super whimsical, super off the cuff, unorganized. He's like Mr. Itinerary, um, more stoic, not as like expressive or anything like that. And they kind of have a good time together after all. And they kind of decide that every summer they're going to get together for a trip, no matter what. And so they do that even if they have, boyfriends, girlfriends, and they don't really do anything with one another. They don't kiss, nothing happens until like the very last scene of the movie, basically, where they meet up in Barcelona or something. And they go to his brother's wedding. And then he's like, you know what? I don't want to be friends anymore. He's like, I can't do this. And you can tell that she's already like, her heart's just kind of, pining for him to even just say that. But there's a part of her that doesn't want to ruin the friendship because it means a lot to her. And he basically lets her know, like, no, like we can have both, like that can exist. Tells her about that women and men can't be friends. And I asked someone, I think it was my mom's boyfriend, about this recently, and I think my dad even chimed in. Um, they were like, it is physically impossible for a woman and a man to be friends because somebody is always going to have feelings, especially if the woman is attractive. Um, Basically saying that, and I will say, before I even talk about it, like I'm no 10, but they were basically telling me that I will never be able to have a true guy friend because I'm an attractive woman. And I just think that's wrong. Tell me on here if you think that, if I'm off base or if they're off base, but I think it's totally possible, especially from the guys that knew me back in the day when I wasn't as attractive. So they still kind of know me as that person. Um, and just because I had a glow up, I'm still that person. And I feel like, yeah, it's totally possible. And I had one guy friend tell me years ago, I don't even think he remembers saying this comment, but he was kind of like the guy in our girl group. Um, he said that he would quote unquote never date any of us. And I have some pretty cute friends too. He said that he would never date any of us because we're too crazy. And I was kind of put off by that comment in a way. Um, I was like, I really don't think that any of us, like in my group, are that crazy. We're just a little like fun loving and, but there was, there wasn't anything that would make us crazy. I'm probably the craziest of my friend group. But I was like, well, fuck you, man. But I think he meant it in good spirits. I think it was kind of just his way of saying, like, you don't have to worry about me secretly wanting you because I would never date any of you guys. And he doesn't, and he hasn't. So I think that you can put looks aside and just be friends. You're off base. I'm off base. So it's not possible. I can be friends with my guys' friends' wives and girlfriends. Okay. Yeah, because I feel like that's super easy because like that person's already off the table and unless you're a shit human being, like you just Like when I have a boyfriend and I'm going out into the wild, I can see a hot dude not even crossing my mind as a hot dude because I I'm very good at putting on the blinders, and I think it's okay to, to be like, "Oh, that person's attractive," but whatever, like a fleeting thought. I don't think that that's, anything's wrong with that. You can keep your celebrity crushes, and I'm just not the jealous type to begin with. But yeah, your friends, husbands and stuff, I've never looked at them as anything. It, yeah. Watch that scene. Okay, let me scroll up. I can be friends with my, but if I'm attracted to someone, it'd really be a surprise. Watch that scene. Da, 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 da. Ah, I know. Okay, I'm gonna do it tonight, you guys. I'm feeling in the mood. Um, and stuff aside with the friend, if I really respect someone as my friend, I think that they should stay away from me. It almost makes me a little bit sad to say, but I almost think that I respect them so much that they're better off without me because I'm just a ball of chaos. And I think Doug even said back, one of my guy friends, Doug, he said, well, maybe sometimes people just want someone to come in and blow up their life. And then we both laughed about it, but it got me thinking later. I was like, does that exist? Do some men really want a woman to come in and blow up their life? I was like, maybe there's some truth to that, maybe not. I feel like I'd have to be pretty bored in order to invite my chaos, you know? I feel like I don't want somebody to come in and blow up. My life has been blown up enough. Like don't have the space for a dude to come in and blow up my bomb. I'm already a bomb set on fire. Like I don't need another bomb. That would be like a weapon of mass destruction, if you will. When you get off, watch the 2.5 minute scene. Okay, yeah, we can start off there, even if I don't have enough time to watch the whole movie. But yeah, I just feel like it's a thought that I've pondered a little bit more recently. Um, because I feel like I cannot be intimate with somebody unless I feel like they truly know me and I truly know them. And especially after this last summer, I had a couple like unintentional forest trysts, and I didn't feel very good about myself afterwards. And I don't think that they were bad people at all. I think that's just kind of like the culture now is like hookup culture. And especially if you're like adventuring or if you're in like that nomadic community, they almost see it as like this is just what happens. And I was just like, I get it. When you're nomadic, you don't have, you don't have a home to where you can actually grow a real relationship. So these people are just being nomadic, fucking people on their fucking destinations. And I was like, I'm not that person. The two people that I was involved with over this past summer, I was like, I did not look at them as a hookup. I was like, maybe there could be something real here, but they were looking at me like I was just a hookup, and it just felt really gross to me. I don't like hookup culture, and you'll hear me talk about that on here a lot. I think hookup culture is gross. I feel like if we're horny, there's plenty of things on this earth, to satisfy needs without actually messing with somebody's emotions. And it's funny because even the one dude I told, I was like, I will feel, if I go through with this, I will feel shamed the next day. And he was like, what are you, a nun? And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was like, because I don't want to participate in hookup culture and I want to, and he's like, oh, this, just to explore beautiful moments and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, man, I think I'm being like manipulated into your fucking fantasy of this like wild and free forest girl. But, and there's I am a wild and free forest girl, but I'm like a traditionalist in a lot of ways. I want to be courted. I want to go about things the right way versus throwing my body around in the woods, you know, not about that. Let's see. You should become friends first, but don't pretend it's all platonic. That's why it can't work because there's always something one way more than another. You know what? I feel like, and there's so much unsaid, especially if you're friends, because you're tiptoeing over a friendship. And if I were to actually be honest with everything, I'm pretty honest about 99% of what goes through my head and my heart most days, but I do reserve a little bit for the sake of I feel like I'm protecting others, and it's kind of a theme of the movie I just watched is the girl at the end, and I was like, "Oh my God, this kind of hits right now." She was like, she said that she was afraid to stay in a town too long because then people would realize that she's too much and they would not like her anymore once they realized that. And I almost think that I'm kind of like that in a way. Like I want to protect people from me because I can be a lot. I I'm a very big I'm an over communicator. I text my friends a lot. And I always let them know, like, hey, don't feel compelled to like text back right away, or you can even like brush this off until the next day. But I'm just a natural over communicator, but it can come on very strong. And I'm involved in a lot of things. I have a lot of hobbies. I'm up, typically up early, and I'm just naturally studious and busy and planning, and I have a lot. This is, this package, which I'll call a mid-maintenance package. It's not low maintenance, it's not high maintenance. It's mid-maintenance. And I feel like that's okay. Um, but if somebody were to transition into my boyfriend, I think I would probably have a lot of updated expectations that I don't think any human male on this earth could possibly meet. So I've just kind of made a decision. And I've basically, aside from a couple hiccups, I've been celibate for the last 3 years. And I've just kind of made a decision recently. I was like, you know what, Lauren? At first, it wasn't a decision. It was just kind of made for me. I just wasn't coming across people that I was attracted to physically or emotionally, all the things. I just wasn't finding anyone. And then I was like, let's just take it all off the table. I was like, let's just proceed in life as if you're going to be single forever. And honestly, it was kind of like a sad decision to make, but it was a little bit freeing in a way because like you can just live for yourself. And I had always wanted like a true partner. But I feel like I needed to let go of that idea because I don't think it's humanly possible. And I wouldn't want to turn any of my friends into a person they're not. And it would be very hard to come across I don't think I'd even want to come across a counterpart of myself that was as studious as I am, but um I don't know. I'm still figuring that all out. I'm going to scroll back to the comments, see if Kendall has any weigh-ins. He's doing very good at his weigh-ins. And that's kind of from the movie. Forests are nice. Yeah. Forests are nice. Relaxing. The only thing that kind of spoiled the parts on my hiking trip were the men that I came across. And granted, um, there were plenty of men that weren't trying to get into my pants. I didn't think so, at least. They could have me fooled. I don't fucking know. Um, and I was like, okay, maybe this is possible to have, people in my life. 'Cause you're not finding a bunch of females in the forest by themselves. You just aren't. So the things that I like to do, they're male things. So I need to be able to coexist with male society and not have them try to get in my pants. And And by golly, in the fucking woods, man, I don't have any makeup on, and they still try to get in my pants. So I just when I do the PCT, I'm going to have to proceed with a little bit more of a guard up for these types because I don't want to be seduced or taken off track. I'm going to end up in tears. I get my feelings hurt. If somebody's interested in me, I just want them to go about it the right way and not just jump to physical things. That's how I feel. I'll have to go back further. I felt like I went back a lot. Oh, hold up, hold up. Okay. I'll tell you this right now. If I try to be your friend, I'll probably be lying to you. Now, I'm not saying you have to sleep together right away. In fact, that's probably worse. You should become friends first, but don't pretend it's all platonic. Yeah, just kind of like have a little bit more wit about me. I There is still a big part of me that's very naive. Even if somebody likes me, unless they're outwardly giving me green flags, if they're not saying it, if I'm not being touched, or I'm not getting a certain look on the face, I'm not getting green flags. It's very hard for me to pick up on. As much as I am like intuitive, I seem to be very, very dumb when it comes to the male species. And I just think that that's interesting. And I think it's just because at heart I'm still just a very, I didn't have I had a boyfriend for 3 months in high school. I did, I was very apprehensive about being physical with dudes, and I'm still scared of dudes. I'm a little scared. It takes a while to really get into my good graces as a dude, but every time, I give the benefit of the doubt, it always just kind of fucks me over. And I just have to be weary of somebody that's love bombing, and I think I was kind of love bombed. Um, the two forest trysts that I have, I'll call them, and I love it. Every girl likes compliments, etc. But when somebody starts to paint a future together and yet they've known you a few days, um, and not even talking as if, oh, this is what we're gonna do, in a few months or blah blah blah, but just kind of gives the girl hope that you'll see this person again, or they might visit you or you might visit them, and we'll continue getting to know each other and blah blah blah. And you guess what? It never fucking happens. It never fucking happens. And I think they're just trying to say what they need to say to get what they want. But I didn't want sex from either of the dudes that I ended up doing it with anyway. I felt like honestly, that I just kind of gave in to appease. And I was really like put off by the nun comment. So I almost felt like I needed to show this dude that I wasn't a nun. And looking back, and then I cried for like 2 days straight because of that. And when we were parting ways, it was like he got like on a cold tone to his voice, like, "Oh, if you're ever in town again." And I was like, "If I'm ever in town again, like it's me visit you, like come to my town." But it was very clear that he would not be putting in any work to see me ever again. And I was like, man, I feel like a dirty slut out here. I was like, I'm not trying to, and I coined the term forest floozy. And I was like, I am not forest floozy. I was like, I am not doing this crap out here. And I just felt like I had my guard down a little bit. I was really happy in the forest. And when I'm really happy and in a place of joy, I feel a little bit more uninhibited, even without alcohol or anything else. And you just feel like you can let yourself go a little bit more. But at the same time, it's left me open to these dudes who will kind of take advantage of that in a way and not try to necessarily steal it from you, but just try to use it to get what they want. And they're not really even thinking about what's good for you. First of all, they don't even know me. Um, but they're not thinking about me. And I'm certainly, it's like one of the first things I tell people is I'm not a hookup person. And then what do they try to do? They try to hook up with me anyway. It's insane. Let me read the comments. I know Kendall has some good words of advice for me. Let's see. You have to go back farther. I think I did. But the idea that you become physically attracted to someone from a man's point of view is unlikely. The idea that you become physically attracted to someone. So, wait, Kendall, explain this to me. You don't think a physical attraction grows, or can it be different from a man and a woman? Can a woman's attraction for a man grow, and a man's attraction will not grow? Either he's just attracted or he's not from the get-go. Okay. Sorry, I know I went on a rant, so I'm scrolling up. I promise. Okay. Let's see. I did hiking for a while when I was between bikes. I like bicycling too. My bike got stolen and has to, and then the good ones are not cheap. They're pricey. It's not something you can go out and replace right away. In the meantime, I got a nice one from Play It Again Sports. It's a road bike because I thought I was going to be doing triathlons before my foot got injured, and still working on the foot stuff. Exciting and attractive are commonly confused. Okay, JD, also explain that to me a little bit more. What is the difference between getting excited and being exciting and being attractive? Is exciting, yeah, is attractive just based on like physical aesthetics, and exciting is just like the fun aura somebody has? Let me ask you this. Do you keep making the same mistakes? Oh, I've definitely. Oh, best believe I've made the same mistakes over and over and over again. So that's why I'm in avoidance mode. Um, and like I said on here before, I was like, you can bring a psychologist in here. I know I have shit to work on. Um, but right now, avoidance mode seems to be protecting me from making any mistakes because I'm avoiding everything. Same every time. Red flag. What's that? Oh, JD, explain to me what the red flag comment was. Congrats on your transition to female. The hormones really worked. Love your content. Your mic is awesome. Hot. Billy is all over the, but like I can't even understand if is that like I have a one strike policy on here. Anything like negative at me, like this is my shit. Like you're gone. But sometimes I'm like I'm so confused by somebody's comment that I'm like, is this even like a blockable, is this a blockable comment? Is it not? Sometimes I give people second chances, and second chances never really pan out. I know that I know you know that I know you. Hey, Billy's all over the place. You're teetering. You're teetering. You're on icy ground. Icy ground. You have all the power. Don't give all the power. Don't get. Don't. Isn't that what they say? The pussy power. I have never. God's truth. I've never used that to my advantage because I've been the golden retriever girl, and I'm committed to staying a golden retriever girl, but I think that you can still be a golden retriever girl and protect yourself. And I don't want to protect myself to the extent that I'm missing out on life. But I kind of have an idea now at 39, like what's going to make me cry? Like what's going to make me hurt on the inside, or what's good character, what's bad character? Um and that takes a long time apparently. I got some wisdom in my body and in my head, but I think I can kind of tell what's in good character and what's not in bad character now. And I don't want anyone with bad character in my life. the people that I consider my bestest pals are just very uh, the qualities that you know, I think anyone would want in a best friend, just down to earth, kind, um, an active listener, and a speaker with you in return. You just have an open, safe relationship, non-judgmental, unconditional. I feel like those are just the best friendships, the people that you can let your hair down with, and they're just gonna continue to like you for you. And how beautiful that is that there's people in this world that just accept every part of you. And it, what's better than that? Aside from hiking and being in the mountains and loving yourself and all of that, which, yeah, I'm going to be out there for 4 months by myself. So I better love myself. You have although no, not you. Trust me on that. Do you ride anyway? I got a good one now. I ride every Saturday. I haven't been on my bike in a hot minute. I don't know where you live, but I live in Pennsylvania, and the rail trail was an absolute favorite. I've been afraid to get on my bike recently because I think I was like gripping too much, and my hand really starts to hurt every time I go on a bike. So I've kind of been off of it, but I have given it enough time now. So it's on the agenda, especially with the foot stuff going on. It's like, well, then I should be able to, that's what they always say, ride a bike. So I'm on three different. It's good to have various topics though. To stop making them do things different. Not at all. I know. Kendall, I know. I know these things. I think that and this is what any good therapist or psychologist would say, is that to truly change your habits, you can't just pull away from everything. You're not going to fucking change any habit that way. The best way to change your habit is to change your choices, change your decisions, change the way you react or communicate, and do the actual things that are healthy, but not remove yourself from everything. And right now, I've removed myself from everything. So, um, easier said than done, people. This is my journey, and I'll have to work on the things when the time is right. Right now, I'm just really focused on getting these through hikes done, and that's going to be a major, major part of my life for the next 3 years. I want that triple crown. Um, I'm relearning taxes right now. I don't have a good foundation to even be on the market. And I feel like in most areas of my life, I'm doing, well, aside from financially, I'm doing pretty good. Like I'm a good person, but I just haven't been able to be in a relationship. And I don't even know that I desire it right now. And I don't think I'm desirable right now. I have a lot of debt, and I'm kind of nomadic. Like I said, I'll be gone for 4 months. How can you date someone and then they just go off for 4 months? Unless, somebody just has a really flexible job and is able to come with me. But I'm not finding men that want to come with me, on my hiking trips. Is it possible that I run into somebody? Yes, it's possible, but I'm not finding people like that, and it's such a integral part of my life and my inner journey. I think the hiking is part of my inner journey, and I don't want to give that up. I feel like if I were to die tomorrow without doing these through hikes, I would have lived an unfinished life. And I think that I need to do this for me. So I don't think that I'm in a place to have a relationship. You think they'd go with me? You think I could find people that would want to go with me? I'm a trial lawyer for defendants. Can you imagine if I stopped because I lost a case? Yeah, it's and that's a character building thing right there, is being able to handle rejection, um or all the hurdles and things that we have in life, because not everything all the time is going to go our way. And it's such an asset to be able to not only pivot, but have the inner resilience to pick yourself back up when there's nobody else to pick you up but yourself. And that's kind of what I feel like on these hikes, is that I'm building this like core of resilience. Um, Not that I don't have enough already. I mean, being on here has been challenging at times, but um, I just want to have a really, really strong core and understanding of myself. These hikes, like, literally take me to self actualization. And I know that that's not all self actualization is, but it is my inward journey. And I don't know that I'm at a place to I would love to share it. I can't even say that. I actually would love to share it. And I do love people that want to join and have joined me for hikes and stuff like that. It is a part of my life I want to share, but I don't want it to be I don't want to walk away crying, you know. Let's see. They'd go with you. Another question, do you enjoy spending time with yourself? Yes. I have a lot of fun spending time with myself. That's why I can do these hikes. And I don't I don't know of any girls um personally that can be by themselves for hours and days and weeks, and in my case, months. I don't know of anyone. I think you have to really, really be strong, and I feel like it makes me feel like a forest queen. That I have this skill that I'm able to be comfortable with myself, and I am comfortable with myself. I think where my problem lies is that I don't think that um, I'm just not a very dateable person. I think I'd make a great life partner, but am I dateable? I'm just not sure. And I think that maybe, just maybe, I'm meant to be this, queen of the forest that's out there to help others and make connections along the way on a friendly basis and nurture the friendships that I do have. But can I live the rest of my life without this romantic element? Will that actually be better for me in the long run if I take all the romantic parts of of life away? And I was like, you know what? After 3 years, I was like, maybe I can do it. I think the longer you go without having dates or a partner or anybody, like the more tolerable it becomes. And yeah, the more you do like kind of favor um, your own company. I think because I'm extroverted, I, when I'm in the forest, I'm making friends, naturally. And I'm not, there are days when I'm completely alone, and there's, a few days in a row I'll be completely by myself, but I'm always looking for people to shoot the shit with. And that's just me. So I never really feel completely alone. I have a good friend group. I have a good circle. So I knew that they're there, and whether or not they're supporting me. I have a few that, support these through hikes. The others think that I should settle down. Um, which maybe I will after these through. I'm not sure. Maybe I won't ever settle down. Maybe I'll just keep adventuring. But I am kind of a person too that appreciates like the charm of living in a small town, like a Hallmark movie. And I'm in a small town right now. I like going to the local Planet Fitness where everyone knows your name, like the lady knows my name. I feel welcomed. I feel warmth. And that's really important to me, is to be in a place where I feel warmth. Da, 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 but I don't do the same trial tactics when I lose. Yeah, you have to everything in this life is a learning experience, and if you can, the best people actually do learn from it and not just, you know, write it in their, on a piece of paper in their head, they actually put it into action. I think that's, I think that's the key, is putting it into action. What kind of distance? Well, we are talking about a lot of. So, Kendall, just to bring you up to speed on my goal for the next 3 years, hopefully, as long as I don't get injured, I'm fixing to do. I got my permit for the Pacific Crest Trail, which I don't know if you're familiar, but it's a through hike starting in Mexico, or at the Mexican border, I guess, and going up to the Canadian border. and that's I think like 2,600 miles. So I'll be gone for about 4 months there. And then in 2027, I want to do the Appalachian Trail. I think most people are familiar with that one. And then this one's a little bit lesser known, but it's called the Continental Divide. And I know that that one runs through Colorado. I don't know the specifics about that one. All I know is that once I've heard that doing all of these equals a triple crown, I just think that that would be such a feat for me, like as a female. I don't think the amount of females that have gotten a triple crown very slim. It would be a really cool undertaking, especially as a woman. A lot of the hiking I do, most of the stuff that I do are long day hikes. Um, and I just yeah. I do it as often as I can. Yes, 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 the John Muir. I saw that name all over the place this summer. Da, da, da. I love, okay, so this would be my perfect day hike. And I'm a little bit crazy. I'm type 2 fun. And if we get 5,000 elevation gain, at least 10 miles, um, that's a good day of work. And I like to walk away from a hike feeling like I got in a good day's work. You get some cute pictures up at the top. And on these harder hikes, you're meeting the more like hardcore people. And you just have like a bond with the people that you're on the trail with because they're doing an kind of like an inward journey themselves too. And enjoy the outdoors as much as you do, and to be surrounded with like that wholesome crowd. Like I said, there have been a couple less wholesome people along the way. Um, but I don't know. I don't think I would take that away from their, you know, insides necessarily. It's just I don't know. No comment. No comment. But in general, the hikers are a wholesome crowd and we enjoy nature because it brings us peace, and we're not looking to get drunk at a bar. Nothing. I don't have anything against getting drunk at a bar either. But we're engaging in the healthier of activities, and we're committed to taking care of our bodies and exploration and looking at sunsets and just getting the most like satisfaction of looking at a sunset or looking off into the distance and being totally content with that. And if you can be content with nature, you can be content with yourself. And you know what? I would die on that hill. I'll die on that hill. I'm fully convinced. And that's why I'm spreading FQE, Forest Queen Energy, out when I'm out in the forest. Anyone who I come across on these hikes is learning about FQE, whether they want to or not, but they all seem to be in favor of it. Um, no one's really knocked me down for it. But if you can be content in nature, you can be content with yourself. That is my saying of the day. It's very true. The longer you spend without someone, the pickier you. I know. I feel like it's almost like working working against me here. Oh man, J&D is one of my friends' tits, right? Yeah. I was looking. I have a pocket. I'm just starting to really like deep dive the research right now, and so I remember seeing it in the pocket guide. I got a bunch of books from the thrift store on it. Um, so it's definitely been keeping me busy along with all of my other, stuff I'm doing. I don't drink, but I do go to bars. I said, I have nothing. Sometimes I just need to be chemically modified so that I can get out of my own head. I'm an overthinker, overanalyzer. And sometimes um a lot of that goes away. Like I was saying earlier, when you're with your true friends. And I have one good friend that's really, really good at distraction, and I have another good friend that's just your token empathetic active listener. And I don't think he even knows like how good he is at it. And I know that, he's never going to go into therapy or anything, but I'm like, he has all the qualities of like a great therapist. And I don't think he even knows it. Um, so, you have a different friend for different things. a lot of them have like multiple qualities that I really enjoy. And I'm able to just kind of like quiet this a little bit. But sometimes I need alcohol to quiet it too. And the one of the guys like on these um, reels or whatever I was coming across, and he's like, you know why Gen Z isn't social is because they're not like going out to happy meals. They're not going out to like happy hours with their comrades from work. They're not really getting to know their friends like on a social basis like that. And sometimes it does loosen people up a little bit. Um, or even just being at a bar, even if you're not really a drinker, just you're in a social atmosphere. And I feel like a lot of, as a society, we're losing touch with that. And I think people are starting to recognize it and do something about it. Um, and that's one of my like pinnacles of like happiness is social connection. And yeah, we're just I think we're starting to catch on that this whole social media thing is not the best. It's a useful tool. It can be a way to wind down. I feel like I'm getting social interaction that I wouldn't otherwise right now because I'm kind of sequestered. Um, it is what it is as long as you have fun, there's no harm in much of anything. And I think that that's just the the goal of life is to have a little fun with it. The best thing sometimes is that you can say stuff to drunk people that's really honest and they won't remember. Truth, truth. Some more than others, some less than others. But yeah, I think we all can just, whatever the activity is, as long as we're having fun, that's what it's all about.